Just looked at your team and only 3 players play? That's because it's Blank Gameweek 18. Only 6 fixtures take place. It's time to free hit. What's up guys, Harry aka FPL Tips here, back with another video. Game week 18 is a blank game week, just 6 matches instead of the normal 10 take place, meaning 8 teams don't have a fixture. As a result, a lot of us are playing our free hits in game week 18, so I'm going to walk you through my team as well as a few other good assets you could look to include. So what we're going to do is have a quick look at the fixtures, the teams I recommend you guys buying from, the teams I recommend you avoiding, and then we'll get into my free hit draft as well as a couple of other players I've considered that you guys should consider as well. On the left hand side there will constantly be those 6 fixtures for you guys to remind yourself of, so when I'm talking about a player you know what fixture they are involved in. So the 6 fixtures in blank game week 18 are Sheffield United against Newcastle, Wolves against Everton, Manchester City, Brighton, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, and the new added Burnley against Manchester United. So 6 fixtures means 4 fixtures have been cancelled, meaning 8 teams do not play. The teams that I suggest that you guys should sort of pick your players from predominantly, that Newcastle away at Sheffield United, especially those defensive assets, I think will be key. Manchester City at home to Brighton, both defensively and attacking players will be good picks for Manchester City. Arsenal seem to have found some form, although Crystal Palace are not in a bad reign of form at the moment. But Arsenal defenders particularly I think are good picks, as well as a few of those cheaper attackers could be good options. And then Manchester United players away at Burnley. Manchester United seem to be in really hot form, joint top of the table at time of recording. So yeah, Manchester United being added into game week 18 is definitely a bonus for you guys on free hit. In terms of the teams that I reckon you guys should avoid, that Sheffield United team do not look like they've got either goals or clean sheets in them, so I'd avoid them. Brighton in that Manchester City fixture, although Brighton have some appealing assets, I wouldn't be going near those Brighton players away at Manchester City. And then the other hot team at the moment, Manchester United, so therefore I wouldn't go near those Burnley assets for this fixture. So onto my free hit draft. We've got the 15 players all blanked out and we'll go through them all one at a time and I will reveal to you guys who it is and why I've picked them in my team. So let's get straight into it. First up is my starting goalkeeper in Carl Darlow. We've been told that Darlow is now the #1 goalkeeper at Newcastle and the shirt is his until he starts making mistakes, and then Dubravka will come back in. Newcastle away at Sheffield United, that's a really good fixture. Darlow's making a lot of saves as well and getting bonus points, so there's clean sheet, save and bonus point potential all in there for Darlow. In the second goalkeeper spot, we have Sanchez of Brighton. Now, don't want to talk too much about this. I know I said don't pick Brighton players, but the cheapest goalkeeper playing in blank game week 18. So just in case Darlow gets injured or there is a postponement of that Newcastle Sheffield United fixture, I will have a second goalkeeper who can come in and fill in. It is away at Manchester City, so Sanchez will be on my bench behind Darlow, but just in case that fixture gets postponed. Into defence, the first one we have is Rob Holding. Now at just 4.4, Arsenal at home to Crystal Palace, this is a great fixture. There is clean sheet potential as well as a little bit of attacking threat here from Holding, but at just 4.4, he's a really good option for your free hit, whether you start him or sit him on your bench as well. Next up we have Kieran Tierney, who's just coming off the back of an 18-point return in game week 17 with a clean sheet, assist and a goal and maximum bonus points in that fixture. Again, a good fixture at home to Crystal Palace for Arsenal. He's got attacking threat bombing up that left side as well as that clean sheet potential, so I really like Kieran Tierney as a game week 18 punt. Next up, we've got Yedlin. Now, another Newcastle defender because I do back them to keep a clean sheet in game week 18. He seems to be the first choice right wing back or right back at the moment for Newcastle, but just 4.3. He offers great value starting in that Newcastle team and can sit on your bench in game week 18. Next up, we have Ruben Diaz of Manchester City. Now, he seems to be the most nailed Manchester City defender at the moment, although of course there could be some rotation as there always is with Manchester City. But at home to Brighton, he's got great clean sheet potential. He's also in the box to win headers and get bonus points by having shots on target and things like that. So there is some attacking threat, but it's mainly this clean sheet potential that we have for Diaz. Next up in the defence we have Wan-Bissaka. Now the other clean sheet that I do like the look of is Manchester United away at Burnley. Burnley aren't scoring a lot of goals, so Wan-Bissaka is the one that I've chosen. You could go with someone like Harry Maguire, who also has some attacking threat, but the assist that Wan-Bissaka got in game week 17 is why I've opted for him over Harry Maguire. So the 5 defenders that we've got in here, Tierney, Diaz, Wan-Bissaka, probably the ones that you'll want to start, with Yedlin and Holding on the bench. Into the midfield, the first midfielder I've got is Neto of Wolves. He seems really creative, he's taking set pieces, he's going through on goal, he's putting crosses into the box. He's really the main threat at the moment for Wolves. At home to Everton, it's a good enough fixture. Everton didn't look great in game week 17 against West Ham, so at just 6.0, I think Neto offers a really good enabler for other midfielders and attackers that you want in your team. Now onto the big free hitters that I've got, the big money bucks that you're spending on these midfielders. First up, we've got Raheem Sterling. He seems to be finding the goals and finding form that we've seen from him in previous seasons. So at home to Brighton, surely there's going to be chances for the likes of Sterling and his teammates to get in on the goals. So Sterling at 11.4 is in my game week 18 free hit draft. But it wouldn't be a game week 18 free hit draft without Kevin De Bruyne. Raheem Sterling's teammate, the main creative force, the penalty taker for Manchester City at the moment, at home to Brighton. I don't see a possibility of going into a game week 18 free hit without Kevin De Bruyne. Probably the most essential player this week. So yeah, Kevin De Bruyne in there, the hub of my midfield at 11.6 in that midfield for my game week 18 team. Next up, we've got Bruno Fernandes. Now, everyone has Bruno Fernandes in his team. That fixture's been added into game week 18, so I imagine most of us will want him. Not much more can be said about him. He's in such hot form. He's probably the most on-form player in the league at the moment. Away fixture where Bruno Fernandes seems to flourish even more, away to Burnley. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes, a great option for this free hit. Finally, in my midfield, we have Son. He's just come off a goal and an assist in game week 17. Away fixture against Aston Villa isn't quite as appealing as some of the other fixtures, but I don't think you want to be going into game week 18 without either Son or Kane in your team. I've opted for Son so far in my team. Just that little bit of value to put in so you can invest in other players like Sterling, De Bruyne and Fernandes, which is why I've gone with Son over Kane, but Kane definitely is an option in your free hit. Just before we get into the final section of this video is sponsored by Fantasy Football Hub. They have great stats, articles, comparison tools, fixture tickers and so much more. From just £2 a month you can improve your FPL game. There is a link in the description which will give you 15% off. If you are interested, go and check it out. Available online and in the App Store. Enjoy. Now let's get back to the video. So onto the forward line. The first one we've got is Callum Wilson. Again, backing Newcastle in that fixture against Sheffield United. Wilson has such a high goal involvement for Newcastle. Whenever they score, he seems to be involved. He's on penalties as well. So I expect Newcastle to perform well in that fixture. And if they're going to score goals, Wilson is most likely to be involved. Next up, we've got Ollie Watkins. So I've got one Aston Villa. People have opted for someone like Jack Grealish, but the 1.5 million saved on going with Watkins over Grealish is how I've managed to get the likes of Sterling, De Bruyne, Fernandes and Son all into my team as well. He is a goal threat. He's always up there playing the ball around, interlocking with the players like El Ghazi or Grealish. So I definitely like Watkins as a pick, and at just 6.1, he could be a great enabler in your game week 18 free hit team. The final pick we've got is a cheap player to sit on your bench, which is Brewster. I don't back Sheffield United. Brewster will be third on your bench, but just in case there's a lot of postponements, Brewster at 4.5 is likely to get some minutes, so he can come off your bench for whoever is not playing in that game week. But he'll sit third on your bench. It's just a cheap player, but make sure you've got 15 starters in case something happens after the deadline. So that is how my game week 18 team would look at the moment. So in terms of who I'd start, where my captaincy shouts are at the moment, who I'd vice captain. First of all, the three bench players and then my bench goalkeeper. We spoke about Sanchez being on the bench. In defence, I'd bench Holding and Yedlin. We've already got an Arsenal defender in Tierney, who's more attacking than Holding, so Holding will go on the defence. And on the bench, Yedlin on the bench as well. We've got Darlow in goal, so Yedlin in on the bench there as well. And finally, Brewster on the bench, 4.5, third sub, but just in case someone doesn't play. In terms of the captaincy, vice captain at the moment, I'm thinking Kevin De Bruyne. Such a nice home fixture against Brighton, but he doesn't quite beat the form that we see in Bruno Fernandes, who gets the captaincy armband for me if I was going to play a game week 18 free hit. So if I was free hitting, I'd be playing a 3-5-2 with Darlow in goal, Tierney, Diaz, Wan-Bissaka, Neto, Sterling, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son, and two up front of Wilson and Ollie Watkins. So finally, just a few other players to consider, players that I couldn't quite fit in my Game Week 18 free hit draft, but are definitely worth considering. If you've got more budget or you've got less budget or you just don't necessarily like a player that I've picked, here are 8 more players that I think you could consider for your Game Week 18 free hit draft. First up, we've got Saka. Arsenal seem to be finding a lot more form. At just 5.2 playing on that right wing, he's taking set pieces, corners and free kicks for Arsenal. He's always in and around the box, sometimes playing in a sort of centre forward role, or if not on the right wing. A great value pick. I didn't have space for my team, but offers a lot of potential with returns in the past 2 game weeks as well. Next up is Jack Grealish. I opted for Ollie Watkins due to a value pick. Grealish isn't on all set pieces and isn't on penalties, which is just why I didn't go for him. It doesn't seem quite worth spending the 7.7 million on him, but he's definitely a good asset as he's the main talisman for Aston Villa. If they're going to score, Grealish is likely to be involved. Next up, we've got DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, he has been on such hot form, especially at the start of the season. He is a lot of money at 7.9, and given the form that Everton have shown recently is the reason he is not in my Game Week 18 free hit draft. But he's definitely an option that should be considered. You know, if Everton are going to score, it's going to go through Calvert-Lewin. So he is a good pick, but I just opted for Wilson and Watkins as better options for him. Fourth option on the top row, we've got Smith Rowe, a great enabler playing as sort of that central attacking midfield option position for Arsenal at just 4.4 million. He's had returns a lot recently. He seems to be getting the start, so a great enabler at such a budget price. So if you're playing a 3-4-3, for example, and need a cheap midfield to go on the bench, I think Smith Rowe is an absolutely excellent option. Next, we have Harry Kane, and it wouldn't be a free hit draft if I didn't mention him. I went with Son. Son slightly better away from home. Kane slightly favouring home fixtures, Son slightly cheaper, which is why I went for him to move that money around, but Harry Kane on penalties for Spurs is always going to be a good option, and going without him could be a risk. Next up, we've got Fabio Silva of Wolves. Now, he seems to be starting at striker for just 5.2 million. Not someone that I'd really rely on to get points, but again, if you need a cheap enabler at just 5.2, free hits are there to take punts on players like this. So he is someone I like. He definitely has an eye for goal. He can be on penalties if he's on the pitch, and Ruben Neves isn't. So he is a good cheap punt if you want to take one. Next up, we seem to have the main goal threat at Arsenal at the moment in Lacazette. Just 8.2, he could offer a lot of value up front, and I prefer him over Dominic Calvert-Lewin if you're picking between one of the two, but I preferred the Arsenal defensive options and the other strikers that I could go with this game week, so Lacazette didn't make it into my team but is a good option. Finally, we've got Eze at 5.8 million. Again, the creative flair that he has should start for Crystal Palace after the injury to Schlupp in Game Week 17. Just 5.8, although the Arsenal defence has looked strong, hence why I haven't gone with Eze in my starting lineup. But here are 8 extra picks for you that didn't make it into my free hit draft that I definitely would consider having in my team if I was you and you wanted to move the funds around or don't go with exactly what I've suggested. But this is the thing with a free hit, it's there to take punts. I would look at sort of a few other players. My team should be a sort of basis that you can work off, but always good to have a little punt that you back. If it pays off, it will feel so good. But that's my Game Week 18 free hit draft, as well as a few other players that you guys should consider. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There'll be plenty more videos like this coming up in the coming weeks. So yeah, like and subscribe, but that's all we've got time for, guys. And I will see you all next time. Thanks, guys. Like, subscribe. Good luck in Game Week 18. Let me know how it goes. Let me know what any questions you've got down in the comments below, or any dilemmas you have ahead of Game Week 18, and especially if you're on a free hit. Good luck with it. Fingers crossed it goes well. Green arrows all around, and I will see you all next video.